We're gonna do this the right way, the easy way, the fast way, the full-size way. Is that the way you want to start the day? With a nice swing? Bree's trying to fertilize the garden, and she is using small 2-gallon watering cans. She said, "Can you help me figure out a way to do this on a bigger scale? This is taking forever, and I have a plan." We're gonna do this the right way, the easy way, the fast way, the full-size way. It is actually a pretty big challenge if you're trying to fertilize the whole garden with a little touch of fish fertilizer. We're gonna use this giant rain barrel. It has a hose spigot on it.
Look here. These are Bubba's beans, see? And his corn. Don't step on it, okay? Alright, do we know how many gallons that is?
We gotta make sure this is clean, otherwise it'll clog up our spigot and then we'll be in a real fix. This spigot is actually clogged with mud. Watch out. I'm gonna spray it, you might get a little wet. Barely trickling out, barely, oh, there's a little.
I've got a great idea.
What's your great idea?
So, we dump it out into the garden and then water all of the plants.
All we need is a tiny bit of elevation here just to clear that hose bib here. And I'll throw some sandbags between to give that bottom some support. Shut off this spigot here, and we're gonna throw that hose in the top. So you're gonna have to not play with it for a few minutes. We're gonna fill it up for a little bit. Brighton's worried his corn is not coming up. So we're gonna go down there and check on that. Our corn's coming up. Here's our corn, look. It's dry, but it's coming up, and you can see some peas that Grace scattered along the edges. There's peas here, and here's green beans coming up, and they look awesome. Where did you plant corn and beans? So it just takes a few days for them to come up. Ours came up in about 3 days. And if yours doesn't come up by tomorrow, what you can do is you can replant. It probably didn't get enough water because it's been so dry. And I didn't know that there was corn and beans here. I would have watered it every day. Look, do you see this? A little bean? And it hasn't even germinated because it's not had enough water. What's your favorite part of your garden?
Almost every 2 days I get a strawberry.
We don't need to fertilize everything.
Correct. But we do want to fertilize
Onions.
greens. Do we need to do the potatoes? Probably not.
I don't think they need it. Peas, cabbage.
Onions, greens, peas, cabbage. The big thing is we're not going to fertilize the peppers and the tomatoes because that can actually have really bad results where you have huge foliage growth and very little fruiting. We should hit the basil plants as well, but not the tomatoes beside them. We gotta get this shaken. We've got our barrel filling. Trustee is doing awesome. I think that nozzle's broken. It's not going off.
Yeah, but
We need something that goes off for this process, or we'll waste a lot.
A green one.
Where is the
where
green
is my
one?
green one?
Well, I do not know.
I guess I'll go hunting. Here.
So reading the side of this for application rates, it varies pretty significantly. I'm just going to split the difference between house plants, a tablespoon per gallon, and outdoor plants, 1/6 of a cup per gallon, and 1/6 of a cup. I'm going to call this 60 gallons. 1/3 of a cup would be 20 cups, and so 1/6 of a cup would be 10 cups. This stuff is stinky. It's basically liquefied fish. Actually, I don't know all they do to it.
Yeah.
So there's 4 cups. There's 8 cups, 2 quarts. And there's 10 cups. How does that smell?
Yucky.
Really? How bad?
Really bad.
What are we gonna stir this big pot of fish soup with? We'll use a rake handle. You ready to start?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna turn it on. It's gonna be all go.
Yeah, I'm ready. I just need to buy 5 of everything that we use on the farm. That's small. Then we'll always know where things are.
Let the fishy watering begin. All right, where's the water? You think it's coming? You know, one way to tell is put your mouth over the end of the hose.
Yeah, right. You can do it.
Waiting, waiting, waiting. The thirsty bean sprout. Cannot wait another moment. Greens, cabbage, peas, onions are first. There it is!
There's hardly any coming out.
Yeah, that's the plant. It's gonna trickle.
Trickle? That's gonna take forever. Oh, that's too much.
I bet you could drink that water. That's not even fishy water yet. Smell it.
Well, what do I do then?
Just keep smelling it over and over, and when it smells fishy, you know you're good to go. You should be able to see it, but I know you'll be able to smell it.
Don't drink that!
It's still clear spring water. It's not fish water yet. All right, smell it again.
You smell it. Yeah, it is.
There it is!
There it is.
You can tell it's a little cloudy now. That's the fish coming through.
All right, pull that hose down so I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Ooh, careful.
Was that fish water?
Yeah, he filled his up.
He just sloshed it all over his body.
Well, he can take a bath or get in the creek.
You're gonna smell like a cute little fish. I'm gonna go check on how much you've used so far. So you've used about a quarter of it.
Oh, awesome.
We did an experiment and planted some seeds in the compost. I'll show you some of those are coming up. Some lettuces down here, which actually look pretty good-ish. And some mustard greens. But here's the beans are just blown away with the nitrogen. It's too much. But then others look okay, like this one. These look pretty good, so we'll see how they do.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how short or how low that compost pile is.
It's shrunk a ton.
It has shrunk incredibly.
Yes, it was pretty dry in there, so it's just the exposure to the water and the microbial life is just smashing through it. It'll probably need turning in a few months. Hopefully you and the kids can do that while I'm at work.
Hopefully. See how beautiful my calendula is, and there's so many blooms. Last year I had plants that maybe got like this big and like produced maybe one tiny little bloom, and these all they're just amazing.
What's calendula good for?
It's like anti-inflammatory. A lot of people use it on their skin and for salves and things like that.
Brighton, watch out, we're gonna jump the bed.
Good job, Ray.
Is it gone?
Yeah, he's out there stirring it.
Let me go tilt the whole barrel so you can get the last bit. See, a little bit of stick like that could clog it. I know you were stirring it. Oh man. Got it. Okay, we're gonna tilt it for Mom.
Is it working? Now is it? Is it? Now is it?
I thought one barrel would be enough, but we're gonna do one more barrel. If you think about it, it's not really that much fish fertilizer going on the majority of this garden. And it's a pretty fast way to do it, all things considered. So I'm gonna mix one more up and we'll finish out and do the corn and the beans and stuff up here at the top of the garden. That hasn't gotten hit yet, so that's what we're gonna do now. Our second batch is about ready to go on the garden. There was some thunder a minute ago and it's drizzling slightly, just a perfect sun shower from one of these clouds. As you can see, it's actually pretty sunny, but these big storm clouds are cruising over and some of them are dropping a little rain, but it's still mostly blue skies between. I'm hoping this one is gonna actually drop some rain because
I want a bunch of rain.
it's just bone dry out here. Okay, grab the end of the hose and you're gonna go start watering. Here's the end. Let's turn this on, come on. So use two hands and just gently pull the hose up. Okay, you can see the rain coming. It's slamming down on that hill there. It's gonna be pouring here in about 1 minute. So I know these boys are excited. And
Feel
I'm gonna put this camera away because we're about to get hit. Actually, I have an umbrella. Yes! Rain on the garden. It's so beautiful. Summer rainstorm.
Dada, will you fill that blood tank up?
Well, that storm passed about as quickly as it came. It was beautiful and it literally rained hard for 5 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like here underneath the soil. It's and how dry it is and how far the rain impacted. Take off about a centimeter there. There's dry soil that's just under the surface. Even that little bit though, falling on the whole garden like that, that's more than I could water in a couple hours using a hose. So I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, before we leave the garden, I've got one more garden job to do. You've probably noticed Bree's sweet peas, which are about to produce beautiful pods for us to eat, are huge. We're gonna tie one string to support them. What happens when they get this big is they are not strong enough to hold onto the fence and they flop over. And you can see these little tendrils, they grab onto things, and you can see like right here, they grab onto the fence, and then the outer ones are actually holding onto the inner ones, so they're all holding onto each other. But all it would take is one big windy thunderstorm and half of these would be on the ground. Tied it there, and then I tied it in here, and then I tied it right over here, so these little sections will just support it here from falling out. Alright, that looks good. Now that I'm thinking of it though, I need to tie the asparagus up too, because eventually they all will topple over like this. It's not a big deal if they fall down, but there is one reason I want them standing, and it's because these asparagus stalks that have grown this tall are going to go to seed. And what we want is for them to drop the seed right back down on that bed and fill in any thin areas. Like right here is a thin area we might have overpicked, and they'll reseed themselves right on top of this bed. And I actually have a T-post here on the end of the asparagus row that I used for this last year, and I'm going to tie from here to the fence over there on each side and just pull it in. Alright, now that opens things up between the peas and the asparagus where you can walk through. Before I go in, I'm going to go through this failed carrot bed, completely failed carrot bed, and pick some radishes, and I'm going to try to cook them on the grill. Our meal turned out fabulous, a potluck of sorts. A little from the garden, some sausage, some steak, watermelon that friends brought.
Move!
Now we're working on moving wood chips into the apple orchard to mulch around and underneath the apple trees. Can you turn the blinkers off, buddy? Good job. All right, let's go.
Paso!
Trees. Some of these trees that are here are older than you. Interesting, huh? Here we are in the apple orchard, and Bree is out in the pasture bringing in the goats with her friends. Alright, let's keep working, buddy. I know these mulch rings won't always look this pretty, but I like making them look right at first. So you'll feel better when you get rid of that calf, won't you? Get that calf out. I chased this man. He's looking for his mama. Come on, let's go. It does seem like chasing kids is about half, well, chasing this baby is about half of the work we do out here, but I enjoy it. I enjoy all of it. You are almost always willing to work with me, aren't you?
Look at them.
Yep. Now you're in the wood chips. Just don't fall out.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep mulching these trees, okay? Guys, I'm happy with what we got done today. We completed a pretty big feat when we put fish fertilizer on nearly the whole garden. We figured out a unique way to do it, and then got some of the apple trees mulched in a way we've really not been able to do over the years just because they haven't had the volume of wood chips until now. So it's been another great day on the homestead, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.